Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good afternoon and welcome into this First Alert weather show. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro, taking a look at your First Alert forecast, and we are tracking a couple of things here as we start to approach the middle of this week. We actually do have a quieter stretch of weather on the way here. However, our next round of snowfall, that's going to be coming up by the end of the day Thursday and then going into Friday morning. So that snow Thursday into Friday, really that's the next big thing that we're tracking here in the forecast. A little bit of a temperature up and down towards the end of the week too. This weekend it does look quiet, but the weekend also expected to be on the colder side. But we'll start by talking about what's been going on recently here over about the last 24 hours now. I know yesterday we were saying that we expected the flurries to end as we went into the afternoon, and that definitely was not the case for many of us throughout the rest of the day yesterday and then even into last night and this morning. So this has been sticking around longer than we expected. A lot of low-level moisture that was trapped, so that's why some of these flurries were able to continue. And a lot of it was actually so low in the atmosphere too that it stayed below the radar beam as well. But there's a live look at I-75 in Flint Township. This is right near Miller Road right now. You can see just barely a couple of flurries that are still just kind of falling there. Otherwise, again, much quieter than it was earlier this morning. I'll even go ahead and take you over to US 10. This is from the Fabiano Brothers building. This is right near Mackinac Road. You can see the Mackinac Road overpass in the background. That also actually looks pretty quiet for right now too. No flurries are falling there. And then we'll go ahead and also take you around to another look at downtown Flint. You can see Saginaw Street is just damp as of this point. Notice at the bottom right of your screen, 21 degrees. So in these conditions, or in these temperatures rather, the road salt does work very effectively. So we really expect road conditions to only continue to improve from here. You can also see that on Johnson Street in downtown Saginaw. And notice that even there in downtown Saginaw, the clouds trying to break up just a little bit. There are some bright skies that are trying to peek through, but definitely a nice little live cam tour of our area as of this lunch hour. But really, if you will be heading out soon, if anything, I would just bundle up because we only expect highs today to reach up to about 22 degrees, give or take. So where we are currently with our temps is pretty much going to be the high for the remainder of the daytime. But I'll go ahead and take you over to the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler just to show you what I was talking about too with the snow. Notice here how it does look pretty quiet on the radar, but we do have a few flurries up towards Houghton Lake and St. Helen. But we'll zoom in closer to Flint and you can see the radar just barely picking up on some of that light snow. Looks like a few flurries between Davison and Goodrich, and even around Grand Blanc and Fenton right now we have some flurries too. But once those move south into Livingston and Oakland counties, that really should be the last of any flurries for today because we do have some drier air starting to move in from the north. So as we saw on that live cam in downtown Saginaw, some of the clouds trying to break up a little bit. That's actually where we'll be heading for the afternoon. So thanks to that dry air, it does break up some of the cloud coverage. So I think at times you'll see some peaks of sun going into this afternoon. And you can actually even kind of see, if you look very closely around the central Michigan region, we do have the clouds thinning up just enough that we are just starting to see some of that snowpack coming through underneath. You can also kind of see that there in northwestern Tuscola County. So again, key takeaway is that from here we do expect some quieter weather as we go throughout the rest of today, tonight, and during the daytime tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, pretty much a repeat of today. Same temperatures and this sort of mix of sun and clouds, or at least some sun trying to break through from time to time. But it is as we go into that Thursday evening and Friday time frame where we do have that next round of snow. I'll go ahead and show you kind of a preview of this here on the 7-day first, and I do want to talk about some of these temperatures too. We still hold on to the low 20s for tomorrow. We have 25 on Thursday, and then Friday up to about 33 degrees. So with the way that system is moving through on Friday, we actually should be able to see temps going back up to about freezing, if not slightly above freezing. It's not going to be 33 all day long, but compared to where we've been recently, that is actually going to be one of our warmest days of the last couple of weeks. But then we'll go right back down to the teens this upcoming weekend. We have 16 on Saturday, and then we have 17 on Sunday. Today does actually mark day number 17. We've been keeping track of this here. 17 days since the last time we've had an above freezing temperature. So this Friday may end up breaking that streak. We'll have to see just how warm those temps end up getting on Friday. However, with that cold weekend ahead, if you were to take Friday out of the equation, we pretty much would be talking 3 straight weeks of temperatures continuously below freezing. So for our ice fishers especially, this is some pretty good news. And I think the general consensus among the ice fishers, and even myself as a snowmobiler, talking to other snowmobilers too, I'd say in general this winter really has been our best winter in several years. So I would definitely still take advantage of these conditions while we still have them around for now. But for that snow that we have coming up on Thursday evening into Friday, I do have a preview of the hour by hour to show you for that. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break here real quick. And then when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at that hour by hour and talk some early details about that next round of snow. Alrighty, and welcome back into this First Alert Weather Show. So we are going to pick up where we left off, talking about that next round of snow that we have coming up later this week. So that's looking to be towards the end of the day on Thursday, and then as we go into Friday. And before we jump into that real quick too, just hopping into our Facebook live stream that we have here too, saying good afternoon to Christina from Mount Pleasant. So hello, hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. But let's go ahead and talk about that snow that we have coming up later this week. So we're talking mainly Thursday evening into Friday morning. Now, one thing that we've actually seen between a couple of different models, they're kind of 50-50 on it right now, is whether or not we have a wave of snow showers that picks up on Thursday afternoon, possibly even as early as about noon or 1 o'clock, pretty much this time on Thursday. Now, with that, again, we've only seen a handful of models actually pointing towards that possibility, but that would almost be separate from the rest of the system. So even if we were to see some snow showers Thursday afternoon, we should have a quick pause near dinner time, and then more snow would pick back up again going into the late evening and then the night, and then of course still sticking around into Friday morning. Now, snow totals, I know that's the one thing everybody wants to know with this too. We are currently working on a snowfall map, and we actually hope to have that out to you either later on this evening when Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick comes in, or tomorrow morning during the Wake Up newscast. But we still are able to at least make sort of an early estimate, just given the way the system looks, the amount of moisture that'll be available during that time, and even the temperatures around that time too. And right now, this system does sort of have what we're saying, kind of that look of about a 1 to 3 inch system. It definitely does not appear to be any sort of major winter storm coming up, but again, about 1 to 3 inches with this system, at least for our early estimate here. I think it will be enough that by Friday afternoon, when the snow ends, you will have some shoveling and maybe even some snow blowing to do in some cases. If anything, it's the timing of this, though. I do want to first alert you to that possibility for a slower Friday morning commute, just given the snow moving through during the overnight. But then this also comes back to what I was mentioning about the fact that some models are trying to start picking up on some afternoon snowfall on Thursday. So that would actually sort of bring up the start time of the system a little bit, especially if we see that dinner time break in the snow starting to fill in with more snowfall too. So that could potentially move up the timing of the system. And if it all does fall early enough, there is some chance that road crews also are able to have enough cleanup efforts before that Friday morning commute. That's still something, again, that's more of a what if currently, because we're still actually seeing more split in our model data than we usually like to see only this many days out. But at least just want to make you aware of that possibility for now, that Friday morning's commute could definitely be slower with that snowfall moving through during the overnight. And it should stick with us, at least right now, up until about noon on Friday. I do have a First Alert hour by hour to show you here, just sort of a preview of this. So this right here on your screen is at about 2 in the afternoon on Thursday. This is the European model specifically, so it is still what we consider more of a long-range model. So some of the finer details are still missing here. But you can see how it is picking up on a chance of snow even during the early afternoon on Thursday. And I'll actually take you over to one of our more high resolution hour by hours. This is fast forwarding to about 11 a.m. in the noon and even 1 and 2 o'clock, even really towards the late afternoon on Thursday. Again, this is a developing system. Models are starting to pick up on this more, and this run of the hour by hour is also starting to point towards that possibility for some Thursday afternoon snow showers. So it is definitely something that we do need to look at more closely in regard to the start time of the system. But I'll take you back to the other hour by hour, and notice this here, how actually, let me take this back just a little bit in time. So there we are at about 2 in the afternoon on Thursday. Notice how it kind of has a brief lull there, a very brief lull, right around the end of daylight at about 6 o'clock or so. And then we see that snow picking back up later into the evening. And then that right there is midnight on Thursday night. So that's really when that main show gets started with the snowfall. And that should carry on into Friday morning. That right there is about 7 in the morning on Friday. But by about noon or 1 o'clock, the snow should be moving out by then. Second half of the day will be quieter. We actually have some nice quiet conditions for Friday afternoon for your snow cleanup. So again, the timing of this system as of right now, the key takeaway is that there really is still some more adjustment that we have to do given both the start and the end times of the snow moving around a bit in our model data. But we're starting to get into that window where we have more of our high resolution data. The high resolution data is pretty limited. It only goes out to about 48 to 60 hours, but we're just starting to get into that time frame. And as we get closer, that data will only get even better for us too. So we'll keep you updated on that as soon as everything comes in. But again, the key takeaway is pretty much end of the day on Thursday, if not maybe Thursday afternoon is when the snow starts, and then it will be leaving by the end of the morning on Friday. So Friday afternoon, we will be back to some drier and quiet weather. But this system, not expected again to be a major winter storm, but should still be enough to bring a couple of inches of snow. Definitely more snow than what we picked up yesterday morning. And part of that too is just because of how much longer this system will be sticking around in our area compared to what we had with that front, that cold front yesterday morning. So really, again, this snow towards the end of the week is the big thing that we're tracking for now in the forecast. And as things continue to update and change a little bit too, we'll be sure to let you know on the latest information for that too. But in the meantime here, that's really about all we have for this afternoon update on the First Alert Weather Show. Be sure to tune in to Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick. He'll have more on this forecast coming up at 4 o'clock today on air on TV5 and all throughout our evening slate of newscasts, the 4, 5, 5:30, and 6. So be sure to tune in to him there. He'll have some more details regarding the snowfall too. But in the meantime, hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday afternoon and stay warm out there too with those temps in the low 20s. Take care.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
you.